It was May 25, 1961 when JFK addressed Congress and proposed the idea of setting a man on the moon by the end of the decade.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
He reinforced that position with the public just over a year later during an address at Rice University in Texas, September 12, 1962.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
Again, that was over 60 years ago. Hopping in the time machine, we can see that just 60 years prior, Henry Ford was setting up his factory to knock out the Model T. The decade of the 1960s was a different era for technology, and a dollar meant something different too. For example, you could actually buy something with one back then. A popular business computer in the early 60s was the IBM 1401.
Computing power that previously required multiple electromechanical counters or numerous vacuum tubes can now be achieved in a single transistorized printed circuit board. The unit can also produce 250 punched cards per minute.
Counting cards. 75, 49, 46. Oh Lord, not good.
Let's put that tech next to a modern microprocessor.
This is a close-up look at what it would be like peering into layer after layer of one of Apple's microchips under a microscope. Although this image video is digitally enhanced and many microscope stills are stitched together, it successfully portrays the scale of human achievement, continuing to make smaller and smaller computer processors.
So, long story short, between May of 1961 and December of 1968, enough progress was made to send 3 astronauts around the moon and return them to Earth. That's 7 years and 7 months from the announcement to human lunar orbit. That was back when people had a coalman, a milkman, and a newspaper delivery agent. Different times entirely. So where are we today? In some ways, it feels like we're stuck in a time loop, remaking the achievements of our grandparents with a fresh coat of paint. Even the speeches seem eerily similar.
When we return to the moon, America will not look down on the prime lunar real estate while our rivals occupy it. NASA astronauts will be on the surface, building President Trump's moon base, and we will realize the scientific, economic, and national security potential surface operations provide. NASA will achieve the lunar objectives and do the other things.
Okay, real quick, did he just say, and do the other things?
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing, do the other thing, do the other thing.
And do the other things. We will invest in nuclear power and propulsion in space so we can undertake the next giant leap to Mars. We will ignite the orbital economy and launch more missions of science and discovery.
Welcome to 2026 and the now 9-year-old Artemis program. We have technology that would have been beyond the imagination of engineers and scientists from decades ago, but we're still struggling. The current Artemis program has seen around $93 billion of investment at this time. The integrated SLS rocket has been rolled out.
dear.
This might go pear-shaped.
dear.
I hope
Oh my
nobody
goodness.
blames
I'm
me.
not
I sure
fully
hope
confident
those helium lines hold.
that I got a good seal.
And rolled back again. As of today, the estimated possible launch date for Artemis 2 is just next month, April of 2026. Optimism has steadily declined since the 1960s. Homes are increasingly unaffordable and freedom feels eroded, buried beneath expanding legislation and hidden agendas. Politics on the grand stage now appears largely theatrical, often disconnected from the will of the people. So why wouldn't our grandparents have had a better chance at achieving the impossible? The promise of freedom and an exciting future had not yet been so thoroughly trampled, and people still had the imagination to believe in excellence. Today's young people face shrinking career paths, AI replacing creative roles, and a cost of living far outpacing income. Political disillusionment is high, and a shared optimism is on life support. But futures are flexible. Maybe ours is just waiting until we're ready to take back the reins of our collective destiny. Let's bring up the scorecard. Congratulations to the beatniks and boomers. You win this round of shenanigans in space.
Shenanigans in space.
Commiserations to the modern generations, myself included, for being useless compared to the old legends. Of course, when it comes to outer space, it's not real winning, it's just a game, which is revealed by the environment. The surface of any large body of water at rest is flat, a natural state that overrules the human idea that we live on a tilted, wobbling, rotating, ball-shaped world in a cosmic void called space. Now let's get back to pretending. Artemis 1 launched in November of 2022. Time to recline and enjoy some favorite special moments.
And you're seeing there on your screen our first Earth views. This view of Earth captured from a human-rated spacecraft not seen since 1972 during the final Apollo mission some 50 years ago. The views of our blue marble in the blackness of space now capturing the imagination of a new generation, the Artemis generation. Mission Control Houston, things remain relatively calm now 5 days, 5 hours since Orion's liftoff aboard the Space Launch System from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The next major milestone that we're tracking ahead of today's burn will be a go, no-go poll where Flight Director Rick LeBrode will poll the team here in Mission Control on key systems required for the upcoming burn. We're now 5 days, 6 hours, and 27 minutes into the historic flight of Artemis 1. The Orion spacecraft just recently emerged from the backside of the moon after completing the outbound powered flyby.
Thank you, Philip. And again, a live view of Orion closing in on planet Earth, now about 11,000 miles away from Earth, as it continues a very, very precise trajectory for a splashdown that is scheduled at 11:39 and 42 seconds a.m. Central Time this morning.
Lovely moments there. Now, let's take a look at this. A video clip from Day 4 of the Artemis 1 mission called The Moon and Saturn. I remember seeing this footage around the time it was first published as news, but it has since become relatively difficult to find. Took a little digging, but I've sourced it back to NASA. In this interesting footage, we see the Orion spacecraft sometimes, but not other times, which I found strange considering the craft is traveling in consistent natural light. Then I found some other things. I decided to document the changes and transitions to catalog any notable occurrences for anyone to use as a guide, and you can get it through a link down below in the description. So there's plenty to see. Orion comes and goes throughout the footage. While traveling in steady sunlight, there are times when we see the Orion craft, Saturn, and the Moon. We see Saturn and the Moon, but not the spacecraft. We see the Moon, but not Saturn, and not the spacecraft. So it varies. Saturn does not appear to drift relative to the craft at all throughout the footage, but the Moon drifts significantly. There's evidence that Saturn may be attached in place. What?
Alarm! Alarm!
That sounds like a conspiracy. I get it, but let's take a closer look. I tested by measurement relative to a fixed anchor on the craft and also the Moon from 2 frames selected at opposite ends of the footage. So here's the video itself. This is the marker point that I used, this little L shape on the craft. This here is Saturn. Let's take a look here at the text on the NASA website. On flight day 4, Orion caught this view of our Moon juxtaposed with Saturn toward the upper left of the frame by using one of the cameras mounted on the solar arrays. So this is Saturn right here. Let's go back to the video. Saturn, this little L shape on the craft, and then we've got the Moon down here. Now as you skip through the footage, you'll see the Moon start to move and drift. Shadows moving around a little on the craft. There's a thruster right there. And you'll also notice this kind of thing, a change of state. And that's all. Every time the camera goes through a state change, I've documented. So there's one around 107 here. 108, 108. Now, actually 108 is a very important one. There's twice in this footage where there's an overbright presentation. The light levels push hard. So a lot is revealed at 108 and then on the very end of the footage right around here at 1423. Just look how bright this is. You can see this is all washed out. We can barely see the rivets here. And the Moon is extremely bright and glowing. So checking the report here, we'll just scroll down to the table of contents, and if we click on relative motion check, Moon versus Saturn, we can see that I've marked the exact points that were used, the keyframes that were selected, 108 and 1412, and then documented the process of measuring the movement. Fade tested using multiple frames throughout the video. So to give you an idea what that looks like, here's a folder full of all the keyframes. And basically I took a bunch of keyframes in order into the photo editor and stacked them in layers. So the furthest one back here is the first keyframe in the stack. And I put a little marker point around Saturn, here on the L on the craft, and down here at the Moon. So you can see by the first frame movement, we can see that the Moon has already shifted off the marker, but Saturn and the L remain where they should be, fixed. Well, where they are fixed. And as we bring other layers into this, we can see that, things change place, things move around, shadows move about. And actually that's one way I was able to confirm that this, let me zoom in here. I was able to confirm that this is actually surely and definitely a solid piece attached to the craft because it responds to the light. You see here as we change between frames, the shadow moves slightly and it blocks in on this bright L-shaped piece. Again, we can see it responding to light. So it's on the craft. Okay. A close inspection of the overbright keyframes reveals what might be interpreted as a physical attachment holding Saturn in place. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 times in this video where the light levels blow out and a lot of information gets revealed. This is one of the times in a capture here, and let's just take a quick look. We'll zoom in, and we'll take a look in this area close to Saturn first. So you could be forgiven for thinking there's something physical here on the craft. That's not just an L antenna type thing, but potentially something bolted on. These could be bolts, but there seems to be certainly physicality here going behind Saturn. And again, this could be another bolt back here, just being hypothetical, but definitely something physical. Unexplained point-like sources are revealed in two overbright keyframes at opposite ends of the footage. Zooming back out. Additionally, in this state, we get to see these points that get revealed around the moon. 4 of them. So these are all documented in the report, and these points are confirmed because at least 2 of them show up in the overbright segment at the end of the video as well. So as does this apparent physical attachment here. Let's do a quick levels change just to see what we can find out. So we just bring this can increase the contrast, bring up details that you mightn't ordinarily see. So you can see when we change the levels like this that the increased contrast really highlights this as something physical. Zoom back in on that. Is this Saturn just attached with a piece of 2.5-inch L-beam? Could it be that simple? I don't know, you decide. There are light and shade possible discrepancies in this footage. A clearly discernible feature seen on day 4 is no longer present on day 10.
Everywhere we wander is a place that we boldness. Artemis, my dear, how you sailed out for the bar in the cosmic void, using gravity to steer. These are favorite special moments I hold near.
To take a look at this one, we'll go to the cross-asset comparison, day 4 versus day 10, anchor feature visibility. So, this is what we were just discussing a moment ago, what appears to be something physical. This is actually the end frame. We were looking at the frame from 1 minute and 8 seconds into the footage previously. This is actually 14 minutes and 12 seconds into the footage. There's one of the other additional points. Let me zoom in again just to see if we can find. There's the second one. So not so easy to see any of those points over this side in this particular clip. But we're not here to look at that. We're doing a cross-asset comparison. So this is from day 4, and it's 14 minutes and 12 seconds into the footage. We can see at least an L-shaped antenna here. Saturn, obviously, we would not expect to see in day 10 footage. So let's now reveal day 10, the exact same area. You can watch this entire video. This is the moon over here. Nothing. There was actually nothing. Whatever we thought we were looking at here as possibly physical was just a delusion. Well, thanks a lot for watching today's video. Back again pretty soon. I appreciate you watching. Do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Talk to you soon.
It's absolutely imperative that you click on that subscribe button to get alerted to the next post-galactic video. Go ahead and do it now while I finish up here. Good night.